Hi everyone. Just a couple minutes before 2 o'clock, so just figured to hop on early and make sure that everything is working. I was going to originally do this broadcast at home, but I went ahead and scheduled a meeting downtown for right after this broadcast, so I'm back at ModWorks and in a different conference room if you couldn't tell. Hopefully we'll get through this material relatively quickly, but of course I don't want to talk too fast. So let's just start off with who is Hashtagitude and who am I? So I am Helene, CEO and founder of Hashtagitude, and we are a digital marketing agency based in Denver. We help businesses grow their online communities authentically and through, I would say, old school methods of, the relationship building focus versus gaining so many followers or getting so many sales. So that's what makes us unique from other agencies, is that we do focus on the community building more than pure sales, because obviously sales is what makes the bottom line happen, but for certain kinds of businesses, especially lifestyle businesses, without that community, your business can't grow past what you already currently have. And a lot of times people will be like, why should I buy from your trinket store when I can buy the same stuff from Target for cheaper or from Walmart for cheaper? Just to, give an example. So yes, we do focus on the community building aspect, and in turn, by building genuine communities for our clients, those communities end up being very loyal customers, fans, etc., to where after a while, your marketing ends up being done by your most loyal fans and followers. And to back up a little bit as to why we named our little broadcast Motivation Monday, I think there are a lot of people probably using that hashtag and the phrase for their other videos. I would say that most other broadcasts probably focus more on life building skills, career building skills, etc. And with our Motivation Mondays, is more about just how to motivate you to get you marketing, but also building your business through some tips and tricks that we're presenting today. So as you probably noticed, our topic for today is about how to network at in-person events and online. It might seem pretty straightforward. It might seem like a no-brainer. You probably already feel like, what more do I need to learn about networking? But I feel like in recent times, I should say, it's become a bit of, a dirty word. Like, I actually went to the Women in Denver networking party this last Saturday, so 2 days ago. And Crystal was saying how someone had told her that, why are you calling it a networking party when it should be called a connection party? Because that's what the focus of the Women of Denver networking parties is more on, is the connection piece, the community building piece, the learning piece, versus pure networking, which most people think of, all right, I'm going to hand you my business card and will you give me your business card? And that's what networking is, but again, with us being Hashtagitude and our focus on community, I feel like networking can be focused on the relationship building from the get-go without feeling like you're being a salesperson, etc. In the end, you are selling who your personal brand is in networking, and if you can't sell yourself, then I don't know, how can you sell your product? Anyway. So the process that I recommend for people to go through for networking is, first, make some goals as to why you're participating in either an in-person networking event or an online networking event. Instead of just being like, okay, I guess I need to go networking this week, just gonna choose this event, just a random event that pops up on your Meetup profile or pops up on Facebook, you just choose it. Have a goal before you do that. Before you start planning out your networking calendar, be like, okay, what is the goal of my networking game for now? And it's interesting. I think a few weeks ago, Certus, which is a local, I guess, unnetworking organization, or their unleads group style. But anyway, it's called Certus, Certus. The founder of it, Sabrina Risley, I hope I'm saying her name right, she posted on LinkedIn saying that if your goal of attending a networking event is to find potential clients, then you're doing it wrong. Instead, you should focus on finding good referral partners for your business, or for your business, for your employer's business, etc. And I thought it was a good point that she made, because it's like, well, yeah, thinking back on the connections I've made over the past 5 years here in Denver, a lot of connections that I've made, I would say, like, they have been business partners or referral partners for me more than potential clients. I mean, some of them did convert to being clients in the end, I would say, for #Itude and my previous 2 businesses. So it's a good way to think about things. So then you're not feeling as much pressure. You're not feeling as much pressure to, like, oh, I have to find one potential client at this event. So, keep that in mind. Look for referral partners at for networking events versus potential clients. So thanks, Sabrina, for that tip. Next, map out your calendar of events, either, on your Google Calendar or in your paper planner, and, figure out how many events that you yourself can handle within a month, within a week, within even a day. There was a period of time, I would say, back in 2013, where I did way too many networking events to the point of burnout, to where then I spent like probably a couple weeks recuperating, because I was just like, But back then I also didn't really attended networking events without the goal, so I just attended them to socialize, and that's a good goal, I guess, as well, but it's just kind of, I guess it ends up just burning me out, at least. Like, even though with the Myers-Briggs test, I actually am an extrovert, or considered an extrovert, like slightly over the scale. I'm more of an ambivert, so I can go both ways with being really like just introverted, just want to stay home, don't want to deal with talking with people for like a day or two, or I can be very like, oh, I want to go to this event, and then I'm the life of the party, etc. So anyway, map out your calendar of events on your calendar, just so that you can see how many that you're committed to, and also just make sure that you're committing to the kinds of networking events that you really are focused on attending. So always remember to have a follow-up plan as well. So what I mean by that, there was one time I met a lady once who was saying that up to 48 hours maximum after the event, you should have a follow-up message sent to the people you've met. I try my best to keep up with that rule, I guess, or guideline for myself, but there have been times where I have slipped and didn't follow up with people until about a month later, which, if people are forgiving, then they're forgiving, but sometimes I feel like people are just kind of like, oh, okay, so you only just now had time to follow up with me. But we're all human. So, but sticking to about 2 days after an event is best in terms of following up with people. A little hat tip or pro tip, however you want to refer to it. So I use Google Labs because I use Google Apps for all my email addresses, and I have quite a few. And there's a Google Labs, I guess, plugin for your Gmail that's called Canned Responses. So I use that to help me start the follow-up process. Of course, I don't send a generic email to everyone that I meet, because that's definitely not who I am, and that's just not, it just comes across as being fake. So I use Canned Responses to help me, though, get those emails started, because a lot of times I get writer's block, and I'm sitting there like, I don't know how to write an email to this person. So anyway, Canned Responses is really handy, and I added my LinkedIn profile into that follow-up email template, so that then people can keep in touch that way, and they won't feel as much pressured to have to reply back to me being like, good to meet you too. I mean, once I initiate the follow-up, then they're like, oh, look, I can follow her on LinkedIn, and then we can continue the conversation that way. So now let's move on to how to network in person, or what kind of things to keep in mind when you're networking in person. It's 2:08. So first you need to have that 30-second pitch ready. A couple weeks back I did a mock interview segment with the University of Colorado Denver campus with their veteran students. And a few of them had, I would say, like a minute to 90 second long 30-second pitches, which obviously right there, you should realize that they went a little long. Keep it short and sweet, what your name is, your business title is, what your business does, or your employer's business if you are an employee at a business. So let me test out my 30-second pitch. I've been working on shortening it up, but haven't perfected it yet. So my 30-second pitch. Hi, I'm Helene Kwong, CEO and founder of Hashtagitude, and we are a digital marketing agency that focuses on building communities for our clients. So maybe I can make that a little more specific later on, but that's my, I would say, 15-second to 30-second pitch right there. So when attending a networking event, and I see that there are 2 people on, but I can't see who it is, so if you want to write a comment, please do so, and I will respond to it probably, I would say, after the podcast. Anyways, I heard from, I guess, a networking expert that when you go to a networking event, you should place your name tag like right here versus like on your chest. And I feel like most people tend to put their name tag on your chest, but because women, we have a little something extra there, it's better to put the name tag up here, like right here on your shoulder, because usually you're going to shake hands with someone anyway, and then they can see your name there versus having to stare at your chest. So that's one pro tip. So, put your name tag right here on your shoulder next time, and hopefully it won't get caught in your hair if you're a woman. And in terms of dress code for networking events, I guess it's probably assumed that you probably should dress up relatively nicely. I would say like business casual, maybe a little more formal. I would err on the side of being a little more formal, depending on the type of networking event you're attending. Now, if you're attending a tech event, okay, maybe you can dress a little more casually. So make sure, of course, that you have your business cards. I would say they definitely are essential. Some people are saying, you don't need your business card anyway, and there are definitely apps out there for your mobile devices where you can just scan someone's business card and just let them keep their card versus you have a stack of cards that you're like, I have to follow up with them. I used one of those kinds of apps before, like several years back. I believe that app actually was discontinued, but right before this broadcast, I checked out the App Store on Apple, seeing what kind of business card scanning apps there are now, and there are plenty. I would say a lot of them are freemium. So make sure also to perfect your handshake. Too loose, some people say it's like a dead fish, but if you're too firm with your grip, then you don't want to feel like you're breaking someone's hand. So I would say, if you feel like you're not sure how your handshake grip is, ask a friend or family member to help you with that, and you can perfect that. So in terms of networking at in-person events, I recommend focusing on the quality of connections you make versus the quantity. So for example, when I attend networking events, I would ideally like to have 5 or like 1 to 5 quality conversations with new people I just met versus going up to a circle of people and be like, hi, here's my business card, blah, 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 and then I leave the circle within like 30 seconds. There have been people that have approached me like that, where I'm just kind of like, that was a bit off-putting, like, I don't know who you are, the context of why you handed out your business card to me, and then also it's like, do I really want to do business with you? I guess that tactic works with some people, but it just kind of comes across as being like, oh, this person doesn't have time to talk with me. Okay, cool. I also learned from my leads group that there is such a thing as a networking waltz. So if you attend a networking event with a friend, which I would recommend, especially if you're a little on the shy side, introverted side, go with a more extroverted friend. But the networking waltz is when it's like, I would say, it's the 2 of you that walks up to one person that you don't know, and perhaps like once you figure out, like if once the two of you figure out if that person would be a good referral partner for one of you two, then it's easier to like show an example, but because it's just me on the screen right now, so basically it's like, you know, if you walk up to two people who seem to know each other, you can start talking with them, and maybe one of them will be like, okay, you know, I'm gonna head over here, and then you and the new person have a conversation, and then someone else joins along, or you see someone else that you know, and you pull them in, and then you exit that little waltz at that point because they made a good connection. So I know that's a little long-winded and probably confusing, but if you ever want to learn about the networking waltz, ask me about it. So types of in-person events to hit up. So I attended a speed networking event actually a couple weeks ago. That was pretty intense, but it was a lot of fun. I met 25 people in like 90 minutes. We each only had 90 seconds per, I guess, couple. And I had done speed dating before, and this was a lot more intense because I was just like, ah. And plus, you know, since it's business focused, it's not so much like, oh, what do you like to do, and your interest in whatever. But speed networking, if you can find an event like that, that's definitely fun. If you went to college, whether for undergrad or graduate, and so then clearly you're an alum of that university, try to hit up some alumni events. If your university is not local to where you currently live, generally there are some chapters that have like alumni events, or there's some chapters from different schools that have like chapters. I'm getting tongue-tied. You can attend those kinds of events through your alumni network. So I'm sure you can log on to your alumni portal and find out when there are some alumni events happening in your area. If you are part of a Chamber of Commerce, which I'm a part of too, so the Denver Metro Chamber of Commerce and the Colorado Women's Chamber of Commerce. Oh, I actually get to see who just showed up. Hi, Josie. And I see that there's two other people. For some reason, I just can't see who is viewing other than Josie. Anyway, if you're a part of a Chamber of Commerce, and even if you're not, generally they have a lot of networking events every month. So, you know, check out your local Chamber of Commerce website, see if they have some upcoming networking events that would fit with your schedule and with what you're looking for. Meetup.com, of course, is definitely a good place to look for networking events. A lot of them, I would say, are probably free or low cost. So, I mean, I guess in all honesty, it's been a mixed bag for me in terms of networking type of events through meetup groups. So it just depends on what kind of group you join. Like if it's a more of an industry focused group and you want to meet other people in your industry, Meetup is definitely good for that. I would say in terms of finding referral partners or potential clients, it might be a little harder to do that through Meetup, but I could be wrong as well. With another type of networking event is, of course, conferences. And with most bigger conferences, you can even merge the in-person networking aspect with the online networking aspect with the conference hashtag. If the conference is, I guess, techy enough or advanced enough that you generally have a hashtag for the conference. A good example of that and it's relevant right now, is South by Southwest, which is happening right now, and I'm unfortunately missing it this year, but it's okay. But everyone always sees the hashtag XSW on Twitter at least, and even on Instagram these days. But in terms of having that live conversations, it's more focused on Twitter at a conference. And then the final thing for in-person events, that type of in-person event, a networking event, would be a leads group, which is slightly different from like pure just one-off networking. With leads groups, you're building a relationship with the people in that group, or at least that's been my experience being part of leads groups. Ooh, the time is ticking, and my meeting is in about 10 minutes. Okay, so now we'll move over to how to network online. So I would say, obviously networking online, there's not as much of a protocol with it. I mean, obviously you can network online in your PJs, so There's no dress code, there's no handshake to worry about, but you do still need to come across as being someone that people would want to get to know better. So types of places or how to network online not properly, but effectively. Twitter chats, that's the first thing that I would recommend, but depending on your industry and also depending on how familiar you are with Twitter, these could be one way for you to gain a larger community for either your personal brand or your business brand. And two chats I would recommend that I know that are definitely still running, because I know that there have been quite a few Twitter chats over the years, but I'm not sure how active some of them are anymore, just because, I don't know, to be honest, Twitter has been a bit quiet on my feed, but I've also not been using Twitter as much, which is sad to say because it used to be the only social network that I used to use. But anyway, two chats I would recommend. First one is #Ambitionista. It's run by Mira Jo Lee, who's awesome, and it's happening actually tonight, Monday night, I believe at 5 p.m. Pacific time, 6 p.m. Mountain time, 8 p.m. Eastern time, and Central time, 7 p.m. So it's primarily, I would say it's definitely for women in their 20s and 30s, and I believe tonight's topic is actually about how to deal with your quarter life crisis. And luckily I've gone past that point of the quarter life crisis, yes. But I would say that it's probably still relevant for me and for others who have passed being at the age of 25 to attend. Another Twitter chat I'd recommend, believe it happens on Wednesday nights, is #CreateLounge, and that one's more for creative. So whether you're a guy or girl, man or woman, you can definitely attend that. I forgot what time they actually start that chat. I think it's around like 6 p.m. Mountain time as well, but I'll need to double check that. I'll put that in the comments below if I'll put it in the comments below after this broadcast. Oh, I'm getting a notification saying this is my most commented on live video, but I can't see the comments. Okay, I gotta hurry up with the rest of this because I have 10 minutes until my meeting at 2:30. So another way to network online is connecting with others through LinkedIn or Facebook or Twitter, Instagram, etc. I would say LinkedIn and Facebook, and I guess Twitter as well. All these platforms you can definitely connect with anyone and everyone that you want to. But with LinkedIn and Facebook, there's more of a, you have to do the friend request on Facebook, connection request on LinkedIn. I would recommend if you find someone that you're not, that you haven't met in person yet, that you would like to get to know better, either on LinkedIn or Facebook, send them a personalized message along with your request for being their friend or connection. A lot more people are using Facebook as a professional platform, which, for myself, I don't mind if people add me and I haven't actually met them or we're affiliated through other groups, but there's still some people I would say that treat Facebook more as, their personal life, what they don't want people in their professional world to really see into their personal lives. So, I would say take caution if you're trying to connect through Facebook. I would recommend connecting on LinkedIn first versus on Facebook. But, add in that personalized message, say why exactly you want to connect with them. Even on my LinkedIn profile, I say, if you're going to connect with me and we haven't met yet in person or through another forum, please put in your message why you want to connect with me. Easy instructions, but I still get some generic, I would like to connect on LinkedIn requests, which I'm like, I don't really know if I want to connect. So, along with those lines of building that relationship, like or comment on those people's posts, and if they're local, ask to meet for coffee, or if they're not local, ask to do Skype video with them, to where you get to know them and you can also explain further, okay, this is why I want to establish a working relationship with you. And then finally, with online networking, Facebook and LinkedIn groups are a great way to also do some networking without, the whole pressure of friending or connecting with them. However, look for those conversations in Facebook groups or LinkedIn groups, not just the promos, because a lot of groups out there on both platforms. There's a lot of just promotions. And I guess full disclaimer or disclosure, I help manage the Women of Denver Facebook group. And before I started managing it last summer, the group was just overrun with a ton of promotions to where it's like, okay, like, it's not about building a relationship, but actually I've received compliments from a couple members in the past month of being like, oh, this, thanks for just keeping track of, the conversations going on in the group, but also making sure that the promotions end up on the promotions thread versus being flooding the feed of the group. You can also join, hobby and interest groups on Facebook. I would say on Facebook versus LinkedIn. So you don't have to network with someone necessarily over business. You can network with them over knitting or crocheting or whatever your hobby is, painting. So, running close on time. So, thanks everyone for joining today. The next 2 Motivation Monday topics are, next week's is Spring Clean Your Digital Presence. That's going to be a fun one. And the last Monday of March will be how to have great customer service for your, I would say, your personal brand or even your business brand on social media. So upcoming events in Denver through us, we are starting Marketing Success Happy Hours end of next month. So I'll drop the link in the comments below after this broadcast. But we're doing it in collaboration with Marketing Melody, who is based out of San Diego. So she started the events actually in San Diego, and now we're more or less kind of, I guess, branching out the events to here in Denver. So that'll be fun. We're also starting some free events in Denver. So walk and talk themed monthly walks through Walk to Connect. I'll get the dates with that figured out very soon, I would say within this week. And you'll find out about this on the Facebook page, but also through the mailing list. Also, we are planning coffee and conversation mornings for, I would say, once a month, maybe on Friday mornings. And I'll figure out like the exact which Friday of each month that'll happen. But all that information will be available first through our mailing list, and I'll give the URL for the mailing list after this broadcast. And then after that, we'll have it announced on the Facebook page. Ooh, it's 2:25. So thank you everyone for joining me today. Hopefully the information was all informative, and I'll have to see your comments after this broadcast because for some reason I just could not see them, and I don't know, I wanted to see the comments. Anyway, have a great rest of your Monday afternoon, and I will see you all next week here again for Motivation Monday.